No good deed ever goes wasted. Once upon a time, when Brahmadatta was reigning in Benares, the Bodhisatta was born as a bull. When it was still a calf, the owner, who lived with an old woman, handed over the cow as a settlement for their calculations. The woman raised him like her own child, giving him rice porridge and rice and other delicious food. He was known as Kakalaka, Grandma's black one. As an adult, he always roams with the other herds of the village, and is jet black in color. The children of the village always grabbed his horns and ears and jumped on his back to ride him. Or they will tug on his tail to play with him, then climb onto his back. One day, he thought, my mother is very poor, she has raised me with all her efforts, as if I were her own child. What if I get some money to ease her suffering? Since then, he has always been looking for work. One day, a young merchant who was the owner of a cart and came with 500 carts crossed a very rough riverbed so that his cows could not pull the carts through the place. Even though he had tied up his 500 pairs of cows to form a large group, they still could not pull a single carriage across the river. Meanwhile, the Bodhisatta was playing with the other flocks around the place. The young merchant, accustomed to judging cattle, surveyed the herd to see if there were any purebred cows among them who could pull his chariot across the river. When he saw the Bodhisatta, he was sure that the cow would be capable, and to find out who the owner of the cow was, he asked the shepherds who were there, "Who owns this animal? If I may tie him to a crossbar to cross my carriage, I will pay for his services." They said to him, "Just take him and use him. His master is not around here." When the merchant threaded a rope through his nose and tried to take him away, the Bodhisatta would not move. According to what has been passed down from generation to generation, he would not move until they agreed on a fee. Understanding the meaning of the cow, the merchant said, "Friend, if you can pull my 500 carts across, I will pay you 2 coins per carriage, or 1,000 coins in total." Having agreed, the Bodhisatta moved without needing to be pushed again. He went to the river, and they tied him to the merchant's cart. He pulled the first carriage with a jerk, landing it on a high and dry place. In the same way, he treats the whole series of chariots. The young merchant tied a series of 500 pieces of coins around the Bodhisatta's neck, or the price he paid for a chariot was only 1. The Bodhisatta thought, "This man is not paying according to the agreement. I will not let him continue his journey." So he stood in front of the first chariot and blocked his way. No matter how much they tried, they couldn't move it out of the way. "I think he knows he's underpaid," thought the merchant, and he wrapped the knot of 1,000 pieces around the Bodhisatta's neck and said, "This is your payment for pulling the chariots across." The Bodhisatta immediately took his 1,000 pieces of money and went to look for his mother. "What's on Kakalaka's neck?" shouted the village children as they chased after him. But the Bodhisatta threw them from afar and made them run away, so that he could arrive at his mother's place safely. When he arrived, he was exhausted with bloodshot eyes from pulling 500 chariots across the river. The pious woman, seeing the 1,000 pieces of money wrapped around the Bodhisatta's neck, cried out, "Where did you get this money, my son?" When she heard the shepherds explain what had happened, she exclaimed, "Have I ever wished to live on the money you earned, my son? Why are you experiencing such exhaustion?" After saying these words, he bathed the Bodhisatta in warm water, brushed his whole body with oil, gave him a drink, and served the Bodhisatta proper food. When the time came, she died, together with the Bodhisatta, reborn in a happy world according to the results of his actions.